Today we are looking at a claim that has attracted significant attention among Iraqi Dinar followers. The idea that one meeting between Iraq's prime minister and the governor of the Central Bank of Iraq could once again become the setting for a major exchange rate decision. The news paragraph we are analyzing points back to February 2023 and argues that Iraq's exchange rate was changed from around 1,460 dinars per US dollar to approximately 1,310 in a single decision, without a parliamentary vote or a major public warning. It then suggests that, by April 2026, the same type of leadership meeting could potentially become important again. But before anyone interprets this as evidence of an imminent revaluation, it is important to separate what is historically possible from what is actually confirmed. The key point is that Iraq's exchange rate system is ultimately a matter of monetary policy, and the Central Bank of Iraq has an important role in managing the official exchange rate. Changes to an official rate do not necessarily require the kind of public parliamentary vote that many people imagine when they hear the word currency change. Depending on the legal and institutional framework involved, an exchange rate adjustment can be implemented through decisions by the responsible monetary authorities and communicated through official channels. That distinction matters because a change in the official exchange rate is very different from the kind of dramatic overnight currency revaluation frequently discussed on social media. The February 2023 example is particularly useful because it demonstrates that Iraq has previously experienced a significant adjustment in the official exchange rate. At that time, the dinar was moved to a stronger official rate against the US dollar. The objective was connected to economic and monetary conditions, including pressures in the foreign exchange market and efforts to stabilize the domestic economy. The adjustment was a policy decision, not proof that the dinar had suddenly become a globally traded currency worth $1 or more. That historical precedent is what makes the current discussion interesting. If Iraq's monetary authorities were to decide that economic conditions justified another adjustment, the process could potentially move much faster than ordinary observers expect. A currency rate is not necessarily something that requires months of public debate before every technical change can occur. Monetary authorities can evaluate inflation, foreign exchange reserves, fiscal conditions, banking sector stability, dollar demand, trade flows, and other economic indicators before determining whether a particular exchange rate policy remains appropriate. However, this is where responsible analysis becomes extremely important. The fact that a major exchange rate decision can happen through monetary authorities does not mean that another major change is currently scheduled. There is no basis in the paragraph itself to conclude that a new rate has already been approved, that a specific rate is guaranteed, or that Iraqi dinar holders should expect an overnight windfall. The reference to leaders potentially sitting together again is a scenario, not confirmation of an upcoming currency event. For Iraqi dinar followers, the most important question should therefore be, what economic conditions would actually justify another exchange rate adjustment? The answer is much more complicated than simply saying that Iraq wants a stronger currency. A sustainable currency policy has to be supported by economic fundamentals. Iraq needs a stable banking system, effective monetary management, strong foreign exchange liquidity, controlled inflation, functioning payment systems, confidence in domestic banks, and a fiscal position that can withstand changes in the exchange rate regime. Another critical factor is the relationship between the official exchange rate and the parallel market. If the official rate is significantly different from rates available in unofficial markets, pressure can develop through increased demand for dollars. This is why banking reforms and compliance measures are so important. Iraq has been working to strengthen its banking sector and improve the transparency of international dollar transactions. Those reforms may appear technical, but they can have a direct impact on the credibility and effectiveness of monetary policy. For the Iraqi dinar, confidence is especially important. A stronger official exchange rate can only deliver lasting benefits if businesses, consumers, and financial institutions have confidence in the monetary system. If a currency is adjusted without addressing the underlying problems that create pressure on it, the benefits may not last. On the other hand, if monetary reforms are accompanied by stronger banks, better financial supervision, improved international connectivity, and greater confidence, the exchange rate system can become more stable over time. This brings us back to the claim that one meeting could change Iraq's currency. Technically, a meeting between senior officials can certainly be part of an important policy process. But it would be misleading to suggest that two people simply sitting in a room automatically creates a new currency value. Behind any meaningful exchange rate adjustment would be economic analysis, institutional authority, coordination between government and monetary officials, and consideration of the consequences for prices, imports, government finances, businesses and ordinary citizens. There is also an important distinction between changing the official exchange rate and redenominating the currency. These are two completely different concepts. An exchange rate adjustment changes the value at which the currency is officially exchanged against another currency. Redenomination changes the numerical units used to represent prices and currency. Removing zeros from banknotes, for example, would not automatically mean that the real purchasing power of the currency suddenly increases. Iraqi dinar followers should always keep these concepts separate when evaluating claims about removing zeros, revaluation, or a new rate. In the short term, any confirmed exchange rate adjustment would have important consequences for Iraq's economy. A stronger dinar could reduce the local currency cost of imported goods and potentially ease some imported inflation pressures. At the same time, it could create challenges for exporters and for government revenues that are heavily connected to oil, because oil is generally priced internationally in US dollars. The effect on the government budget would therefore need to be carefully managed. For consumers, the impact would also depend on how businesses respond. A stronger official rate does not automatically mean every product in every market immediately becomes cheaper. Prices depend on import costs, transportation, taxes, distribution expenses, competition and expectations. Therefore, even if the exchange rate changes, the real economic benefit to households may develop gradually rather than appearing instantly. Looking further ahead, the more important story may not be a single exchange rate announcement at all. It may be Iraq's broader transition toward a more modern financial system. If banking reforms continue, if electronic payments expand, if international compliance improves, and if confidence in Iraqi financial institutions increases, the central bank could have greater flexibility in managing monetary conditions. That would potentially create a more stable environment for the dinar over the long term. This is why the February 2023 precedent deserves attention, but it should not be treated as a prediction. History can show us what policymakers have done before. It cannot guarantee what they will do next. Economic conditions in 2026 are not identical to those of 2023, and the appropriate exchange rate policy depends on the circumstances at the time. For those following the Iraqi dinar, the most responsible approach is therefore to watch official central bank announcements, government financial decisions, banking reforms, inflation data, foreign exchange market conditions, international reserves, and developments in Iraq's fiscal position. These indicators provide much more useful information than unverified claims about secret meetings or predetermined rates. If Iraqi officials do hold another high-level meeting regarding monetary policy, the important question will not simply be whether they met. The real question will be what policy decision, if any, emerges from that process, and whether it is formally communicated by the responsible authorities. Until such information is officially confirmed, speculation should remain speculation. The February 2023 experience does demonstrate something valuable. Iraq has the institutional ability to make meaningful adjustments to its exchange rate policy when policymakers determine that economic circumstances require it. But that fact should be viewed as historical context, rather than a guarantee of another sudden currency transformation. For Iraqi dinar followers, patience and verification remain essential. A stronger dinar policy could have economic advantages under the right circumstances, but its sustainability would depend on the strength of Iraq's broader economy and financial institutions. The real story is therefore bigger than one meeting, one announcement, or one exchange rate number. It is about whether Iraq can continue building the economic and banking foundations necessary for a stable and credible currency. As we continue monitoring developments, remember that responsible currency analysis is about separating confirmed information from speculation. If an official exchange rate decision is announced, the details should be evaluated carefully, including the effective date, the official rate, the policy rationale, and the potential impact on Iraq's economy. Thank you for watching Iraqi Dinar News. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and like the video for responsible, factual, and carefully analyzed Iraqi Dinar updates. We will continue following official developments and explaining what they could mean for Iraq's economy and the dinar. And as always, this content is provided for informational and educational purposes only and should not be considered financial advice.